Well, is that your considered editorial opinion, huh?
That dog's beginning to think he's an authority on everything. He was passing judgment on my cookies earlier in the day. I'll get it.
Now, you stay there. No more opinions, huh?
Hello? Well, I'll see if I can catch her. She just went out the door. You don't want to talk to Mrs. Post, do you?
Well, of course I do. She's a perfectly nice woman, even if she is, shall we say, a little formal.
Or a lot, shall we say, stuffy.
Hello, Mrs. Post.
Good morning, Mrs. Muir. How is everyone at your house?
Oh, just fine, thank you.
Good, because I'm calling about the PTA meeting. You know, we were to hold it at Maybelle Gilbert's house, but George, Gregory, Graham, Grace, and Gertrude all came down with poison ivy.
That's a lot of skin to cover.
Yes, well, in any case, we can't have it at her house. And runner-up house was supposed to be Eloise McBean, but Bundy sprained her ankle, and Billy fractured his arm. The baby's teething, and Brunhild gave birth to triplets.
Triplets?
They're Cocker Spaniel. So the McBean house is out, and you're in.
Oh?
I know you're glad of a chance to finally dispel some of the nonsensical ideas that some people have about Gull Cottage. Of course, I don't believe in ghosts myself.
Of course not. And I'd be delighted to have the PTA ladies here. Mrs. Post.
Friday at 4.
Friday at 4. That'll be lovely. All right, Mrs. Post, thank you. Bye. All right, Captain Gregg, there's no point in blowing your cool. Now, holding the PTA meeting here is very important, and I expect your cooperation. Now, what do you say? Certainly don't mince words. Captain Gregg, I'd like a word with you. I don't want emanations, I want results. Oh, come on now, I'm in no mood for games. Captain Gregg.
Good morning, madam. Would you care for some lemon with your tea?
No.
Oh.
I came to talk to you about holding the PTA meeting here.
Impossible. A swarm of prattling women can wreak more havoc than a school of killer sharks. I will not allow them aboard my ship. That is my final word.
Well, that's not my final word. I've got to have the PTA here.
A few moments aboard my ship, and I promise you that those giggling, gaggling, gossiping girlies will be begging to leave. I can visualize it all now. The overstuffed chairman calls the overstuffed meeting to order. Order, order. Overstuffed ladies will come to order. Now, the first item on the agenda is the pouring of the tea. Oh, goodness, that was not on the agenda. Now, the ladies should decide to serve cream puffs with their tea.
All right, all right. You've made your point.
Splendid. Did you hear that?
Hear what?
That. Don't tell me you didn't hear or see anything.
Nothing. Captain, what's the matter with you?
No, it can't be.
Captain, if you're trying to scare me...
Yes. There she is. The Sea Vulture. Blast that cursed ship.
The Sea Vulture? Well, there's no ship out there.
None that you can see. It only makes its presence known to the likes of me.
What do you mean? What is the Sea Vulture?
Madam, I want your promise that you will never mention it again.
But a ship that can only be seen?
Promise.
All right, I promise.
You mean that?
Yes.
You really mean that?
No. Good afternoon, Mr. Tuttle.
Howdy, Miss Muir.
I wonder if you can help me.
Maybe. Depends.
But do you have any books about the folklore of the sea? You know, legends and fables, old sailor stories, that sort of thing?
Maybe. Depends.
Well, all I know is that what I'm looking for has something to do with a ship called the Sea Vulture. Does that help you any?
Sea vulture ain't a ship. It's a bird. Look under birds.
Well, in this case, it has to do with a ship.
Oh. Well, look under ships.
Thank you.
But on the way, better stop off at birds. Don't hurt to play it safe.
Captain, give me that book. Give it to me. Let go. Let me have the book. Let go. Give me that book. I mean, Captain. Captain, let go. Let me have the book. Terribly sorry. Clumsy. You must be getting a little weak, Captain. Guess what you just saw must have looked rather strange.
Guess if a book don't want to be read, it just don't want to be read.
Well, madam, has your curiosity been satisfied?
No, not entirely. I know all about the legend of the Sea Vulture and the man called the Flying Dutchman, but I don't know what it has to do with you.
You want to hear it from the victim himself, eh?
The victim? Well, yes, I certainly do.
Very well, madam. So you shall. Please be seated. It all began about 200 years ago off the coast of Holland. Hans van der Hoff was the captain of the Sea Vulture, a man driven by an obsession to find a fabled lost continent. His villainous crew plotted to do him in. One night, they crept stealthily into his cabin. With knives poised to strike, the captain awakened and shrieked a curse on all seafaring men for this mutinous act. And then the knives plunged in. And then, suddenly, the Dutchman disappeared. His crew stared in horror. Nothing of him remained, except the echo of that horrible curse which resounded throughout the ship. The crew abandoned the Sea Vulture and left her to drift the seas for all eternity with only her invisible master at the helm. Every 7 years, she appears in some port. The Dutchman exacts penance for the injustice done him. As long as the Sea Vulture lies at anchor in any port, Van der Hoff's curse renders helpless the ghosts of all men of the sea.
How does that affect you?
I shall be helpless, deprived of many of my powers, as long as the Sea Vulture lies at anchor out there.
How long will she be there?
Until she's whipped out to sea again by the celestial winds.
And until then, you have no power at all?
Oh, I wouldn't say no power.
Can you move the teapot?
Don't be ridiculous.
Well, go on and try.
No.
Oh, come on.
Oh, very well.
That's it? You really are weak. How do you feel?
Like Samson after his haircut.
That's terrible. Well, how long before the celestial winds blow?
Hours, days, who knows?
Well, then, someone could take advantage of you.
Ah, yes, but it is part of the code of the sea that no gentleman would ever take advantage in a situation like this.
Captain, I'm about to take advantage.
Madam, you are no gentleman.
Ah, but I am a parent, as in PTA.
I forbid it. Madam,
Friday at 4.
I'll still scuttle you.
Oh? Well, may I suggest that you practice on the teapot first, Samson?
Ah!
2 packages of these cookies should be enough for 8 ladies.
Is Mrs. Post coming?
Oh, I'm sure she's on the list.
Then you better get 3 packages. She eats like an elephant.
Candy, that's not a nice way to talk about Mrs. Post.
I'm just telling it like it is.
Candy?
Remember her at the admission day picnic?
Yeah,
Well,
she eats like an elephant.
Oh, Jonathan, Candy, Martha, good
Oh,
morning.
good morning, Claymore.
I guess you're here for the special on chickens. I am, too. I'm a big chicken man.
I can believe it. But just between us chickens, Claymore, we're picking up some snacks for a few hens.
Oh.
Mom got stuck with the PTA meeting.
Aren't we the lucky ones? I'll check these things out and see you children outside. Jonathan?
Bye,
Claymore.
bye. I don't believe it. Old Spookface would never allow a PTA meeting aboard his ship.
You shouldn't call the captain old spookface.
Why not? Is he here?
No, he isn't here.
Are you sure? I mean, he could be anywhere, you know.
No, he couldn't. He lost his power.
Well, all the same, Say what you just said very slowly.
I said...
No, don't. You might change it.
He said he lost his powers.
He did. He did. That's what he said. No, you're kidding. No, you're kidding. You just want to see me go into a wild frenzy of delight, no, and tell me it's all a joke. That's it, isn't it?
Mr. Gregg, we wouldn't do that.
You wouldn't? Then it's true. Tell me it's true, even if you have to lie.
It's true.
You're lying. No, you are not. Your mother wouldn't have that meeting unless she knew the captain couldn't do anything about it.
She sure wouldn't.
She sure wouldn't. Oh, you precious, wonderful children. I shall always remember it was you two who gave me the news that set me free. Do you know what that means? Do you?
What does it mean?
What does it mean, she asked. It means that diabolical demon no longer has a hold on me. It means that I can make him pay for every creepy, cringing moment he's put me through. Do you hear that, spookhead? I'm free and he's helpless. And ooh, is he going to get his? Bye.
Jonathan, didn't Mom say the captain would get his power back? Uh-huh. Do you think we should tell Mr. Gregg? Gee, I haven't the heart. I've never seen him so happy.
Won't you come in and make yourself comfortable? Oh, Mrs. Post. Mrs. Jenkins, how are you?
So, this is the place we've heard so much about.
Oh, it's only me. Nothing to be nervous about.
Me? Nervous? Not at all. Why, I, for one, don't believe those silly stories for a moment, do I, Mrs. Ghost? Oh!
Oh, won't you come inside and make yourselves comfortable? Lovely to see you.
Oh, it's adorable. It's so cozy.
It's not cozy, it's trim. Madam, this is my final warning. Either take your meeting elsewhere, or I'll conjure up a blinding thunderbolt that will send your guests scurrying away like frightened felines.
Happy conjuring.
What was that?
What was what?
I thought I heard a strange creaking sound.
Oh, we have lots of creaks. This is an old house, and when things don't work right, they just creak. Good. Now, then, we all agree that Mrs. Beeman will be chairman of the cookie seance. Now, the next matter is to station a crossing guard at the intersection near the playground.
I believe the mother should take turns on duty.
Yes, I think that's only fair. Right. And I've made up a daily schedule, subject to everyone's approval, of course.
I'm sure we won't have any trouble agreeing on it.
Now, Monday is Mrs. Post's turn.
Oh, I'm sorry. Monday is the one day I can't make it. I take Gregory to his guitar lesson.
Ah, well, then Mrs. Vogel can take Monday.
No,
No?
no. I'd rather take Wednesday. Monday is bridge club. Maybe Mrs. Jenkins.
Oh, well, Mrs. Jenkins is down for Thursday.
I'd prefer Tuesday.
Well, that's Mrs. Beeman's day.
I'm afraid Tuesday. No, I'm sorry. I mean Tuesday, Mrs. Beeman.
I play at the multi in a minute. May I suggest that we go on to the discussion of the new playground? Now, the principal was good enough to send over a sketch of the proposed layout. If you'll excuse me, I'll just go and get it, and just help yourselves to some tea, all right?
Oh, that's a good right back.
Excuse me, Captain.
Madam, I order you to clear my ship of these women. This is my final warning.
Is this final warning more final than your previous final warning?
Madam, don't underestimate me. In times of crisis, men have been known to perform superhuman feats, and I am a super spirit.
Aye, aye, sir. Isn't that lovely?
That's very exciting.
As you can see, there's a lot of space here in the play area. And up here is the boy and the girls' gym and shower. And over here's the softball field. And, of course, the boys' locker and girls' locker. Slippery little thing. Oh, now, where was I? Oh, yes. The swings in the monkey cage will be here. But that's the girls' shower. I mean, the monkey cage will be here.
But that's the boys' shower.
Oh, dear me. I think I'd better just study this for a minute. We wouldn't want the boys and the monkeys taking showers together, would we?
My, but she's acting strangely.
Well, it is the first meeting that she's held. She's probably just a little bit nervous.
Give it to me. Captain Greg, give it to me. Go. Sorry. I'm so clumsy. Now, the big question is, where do we put the swimming pool? Now, one possibility is right over here. Anyone for tea? Oh, yeah.
Did I see that teapot move by itself?
Mrs. Jenkins, I swear you're more nervous than Mrs. Muir.
Just one thunderbolt. Just one roaring, screeching bolt that would send them running for their lives. That's all I ask. Blast you, Dutchman.
What was that thud? Oh, we have lots of thuds, and creaks and clunks, and one of the clunks is clunking right now. Now, let's see, where was I?
In the swimming pool.
Yes, of course.
What play, more? Oh, if you're here to see Mrs. Muir, I'm afraid she's busy with a meeting.
It's not Mrs. Muir I'm here to see, Martha. I've just brought a little surprise. I'll take it upstairs. Ah, there you are.
Who gave you permission to enter?
I gave myself permission to enter. That's who. What do you think about that, old trick-or-treat?
Why, you sniveling...
You don't scare me. I know what happened. Lost your power, didn't you? Big old fire and thunder is nothing but a little pop gun now. Isn't that right, Spookface? Woohoo! I always wanted to do that. Now watch. The other way.
You take your grubby paws off my equipment and get out of my cabin.
Your equipment, your cabin, this is my house. It's checkout time, spooky. Save your 140-year-old breath. Oh, have I got a real goodie for you? I'm going to sell that horrible sourpuss portrait of yours.
You what?
You heard it, Charlie. There's going to be a new face over the old mantle tonight. This is an ancestor on my beloved mother's side. Uh-huh. Uh-huh, look at it. I may even put a little shrine under it.
Take that miserable portrait and your miserable hide and get out of here before I...
Before you what? Pull one of your little ghosties? Go ahead. Be my guest. Is that it? Is that the best you can do? A little whoosh of wind? Oh, please, Captain. I do better than that every time I exhale.
The wind. A little puff may be all the wind I'll need, Larry.
Oh, you really have had it, haven't you? Beautiful. Beautiful.
Now then, you were saying?
Oh, there is something else that I've wanted to do for a long, long time.
What?
Oh, that! Now, left-handed, that! The king is dead! Long live the king!
Claymore, may I look at the portrait?
Oh, certainly, be my guest.
Stunning fellow.
Uh-huh.
Striking likeness.
I thought so. Oh, no! Your power is gone. You have no power. You know that. Where are you? Now, what are you up? What are you up to now? Where are you? Oh, it is yours!
Oh, no!
Open the door! Please don't stop in the hole, please. No. Watch the wall!
As often as I see it, I still don't believe it.
Never count on the celestial winds, dear lady. They're as fickle as the winds of time. My, it feels good to be able to stride through walls again.
All right, Captain, get on with it.
Get on with it.
Turning my meeting into a shambles. What's it going to be this time? Thunder, lightning, ghosts at 40 paces?
This meeting means a great deal to you, doesn't it?
A great deal. But you can't understand. You've never been a parent.
With a P as in PTA? No, madam. The nearest I've ever come to a family is now. Well, I suppose if you have to put up with those babbling women, I must too.
You know, Captain, at times you become almost human.
You know, at times, madam, I wish I were. But see that they're out of here by 5 o'clock.
Yes, well, I'm delighted everyone enjoyed it, Mrs. Post. And I hope it dispelled those silly rumors about Gull Cottage being haunted. Well, it's ridiculous to think that there's a ghost living here. All right, thank you for calling. Bye-bye.
Madam, although you managed to take advantage of me today, I want you never to entertain any thought of attempting to do so in the future.
Captain, I would never do that. I mean, you were just so gracious to let me have the meeting and to continue. I'd never dream of that.
We'll see that you don't.
Oh, never, Captain. Not a chance. I would no more dream of doing that or anything like that in Florida. I mean, those ladies just had such a...